Hello guys, and welcome back to Phat Pack Magic. We've got the Vintage Cube gameplay here for you today. On the left we've got Adam, who's running a Bant Control List, and he won the die roll, so he's going to be going first. Now, Victor on the right, we followed his draft, and I am, for Adam's deck, I favor his mainly because the CounterMagic is going to give him a lot of time to set up, and Victor's deck is mainly full of dorks. So Adam's going to have plenty of time as long as Victor doesn't cobble together an early natural order or some early reanimation. Adam's going to have plenty of time to set up, do his thing, and get control of the board. Now, they both decided to keep, and it looks like Adam's going to start off with an island and pass the turn back. Now, looking at his hand, he's got Force of Will, and Victor passed that in his pack one, pick one, so it went all the way around. So Adam probably has some really nuts good blue cards in his deck. Now, Victor looks like he's going to start off his turn with a Badlands and a Mana Crypt into a Griselbrands Reveler, drawing and discarding, and it looks like he's got a Dance of the Dead in hand, but he's going to pitch a Nissa, which is quite unfortunate, mainly because it's so strong. Those early Planeswalkers against control lists, I don't think that's one card I would have pitched. I would have pitched a land, maybe. But Adam draws for turn, and he's deciding on what land he wants to deploy. How scared is he of a 2-mana 2/2? Not that scared, apparently, because he's playing a Temple Garden and pass. Now, the Mana Crypt is going to deal 3 damage to Victor, and that is going to be a win condition for Adam. Now, Griselbrands Reveler starts to get in there, dealing 2 damage to Adam, as Victor takes his turn to play, and he plays out a Wall of Roots. Unfortunately, that Mana Crypt isn't doing much except dealing 3 damage at this turn. But Adam looks like he is a little bit stuck on lands, playing a Mox Diamond, discarding and playing, but not having a land drop to go with it. And in his hand, looks like he has Mirari's Wake and Forbid. Now, Forbid is a great card for this matchup, mainly because he wants to counter all the Reanimator and he wants to counter all the cheaty effects. Now, Mana Crypt is going to deal another 3 damage to Victor, and Victor is going to respond in kind, swinging at Adam for 2 damage, and then playing out an Avacyn's Pilgrim before passing the turn back. And Adam is just getting all the time in the world he needs to play whatever he wants to deploy, and it looks like he's going to crack that fetch land. And does he have any good duels to go with it? Maybe a Tundra, maybe a Savannah? No, instead he's just going to grab an island, and is it time to deploy that Solemn Simulacrum, ramping him up another land? He's shuffling, or does he want to, hold back? He has Force of Will, so if something too scary goes down, he can counter it before it gets on a hand. But look at that, he's got Time Vault, and it's at the bottom. So, the question is, does he have the key or the Kior's follower to make it go? He tries to grab a Hallowed Fountain tapped, but nope. Have to get a basic land there, buddy. Goes for an island instead, and passes the turn back to Victor after he's done shuffling. Shuffling a little bit more. But that Mana Crypt is going to be really dangerous, and Victor, end of turn, is going to sacrifice that Bloodstained Mire. Probably going to grab maybe an Overgrown Tomb tapped. I mean, that's what I would grab. But he might just want a basic here. Nope, he's going to go for the Overgrown Tomb tapped. Smart play. Smart play indeed. So that way he doesn't have to take damage to get it untapped later, and he's still got the Bayou for another fetch land later. But already, Victor has taken 6 damage off that Mana Crypt, and Adam doesn't really have to do much else other than just wait it out. Victor holding Dance of the Dead in hand. Cutting, no, he already cut. So, it's your turn, Victor. Alright, Victor is rolling for the Mana Crypt. Untap, upkeep, Mana Crypt, even equals damage. And he goes down to 10. And Adam just comfortably sitting there with a Force of Will in hand, ready to deploy if something too crazy gets out of hand on Victor's side of the board. Victor tapping 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One counter, 7 mana. Tooth and Nail. Now that's just something a little bit crazy. And there goes Force of Will. And he's going to have to exile that Snapcaster Mage. What a hit. Because, well, then again, Snapcaster Mage doesn't really have many targets. And now Victor has to decide if he wants to try and force a trade with that Solemn Simulacrum. But at the point, he doesn't really want to give Adam any kind of card advantage. But right now, Adam is sitting pretty. He doesn't have a land drop, but he has 2 cards to discard to that Forbid. Victor taking 1 damage for the Marsh Flats, sacrificing it and looking for another dual land. He grabs the Bayou, but he's got 3 turns left on that Mana Crypt. He has to make a play and make it now. Because, he might just get lucky off that Mana Crypt. You know, sometimes that just happens where your opponent gets down to 3 with that Mana Crypt and then just doesn't lose a die roll for the remainder of the game. So, even equals damage, and Victor is safe for a turn. Victor taps 2. 1, 2. And here comes Lotus Cobra. Not the most impressive play at this late stage in the game. And Adam is fine with it. He draws a card and passes the turn back. Mana Crypt dealing 3 damage to Victor, taking him down to 6. He's got 2 turns, but he doesn't have many threats left to deploy. Adds a mana from the Nurturing Peatland with Lotus Cobra. Draws a card off the Peatland. Is it something good? It's a mana dork. Maybe he can get a Craterhoof Behemoth in there, but Adam is holding up Forbid, and with plenty of draw to go with it. He's counting up the cards in Victor's hand. The math is just not on Victor's side here. He needs a top deck. Well, he needs multiple top decks to get through not just Forbid, but multiple Forbid casts. And he passes the turn back. Victor taking 3 more damage, going down to 3. Swinging in. Adam, is he gonna take the bait? Is he gonna, he's just gonna block. Kill off that Lotus Cobra. Take 2. Go down to 12. Draw a card. Draw for turn. Plays out his land for turn. He's got Elspeth in hand. But he doesn't have to do anything. All he has to do is wait for Mana Crypt to kill off Victor. And that's the plan. Victor lives another turn. And there it is. There's Craterhoof Behemoth. Maybe this Mana Crypt will finally pay off. But I don't think so. Adam is not going to let that Craterhoof resolve. Here's a ton of mana. Another one. Another. Let tap tap. Here comes Craterhoof. And here's Forbid. And Adam has a ton of targets to discard stuff. So he's choosing the buyback. And he's choosing what 2 to discard. Doesn't really have to do anything here. He can discard a land and something else. Yep. Land and Deceiver Exarch. Forbid goes back to hand. Here's Dance of the Dead to bring back the Craterhoof Behemoth. Nope. Forbid. Is he going to discard 2 for the buyback, though? I mean, he could keep up the Time Spiral in hand. And then just have that for later. Victor has 1 card in hand. Now, Elspeth isn't going to do much against a hoofed board. So I really like the Time Spiral here. I would really keep the Time Spiral. But looks like Adam is going to discard Mirari's Wake and Time Spiral. Victor crashes in, dealing 2 damage. Adam goes down to 10. But Adam is fine. He's okay. He's got 3 cards in hand. That's 2 Forbid casts. Well, pass the turn. Victor, you need some draw. You need a lot of draw. But the draw is not enough. He doesn't even get to his draw step as Mana Crypt closes out the first game, killing off Victor with his own 2 mana acceleration. and Adam takes game 1. But we are going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, I want to give a quick shout out here to Your Playmat. These guys offer fully customizable playmats, card sleeves, and foil playmats. Now, I wouldn't be talking to you guys about these mats unless I personally believed in them. So check this out. Yeah, that is the Mox Jet Altar on the Phat Pack Magic draft videos, and we put that on a mat. And here's the best part. Your Playmat believes in me and believes in my channel and therefore believes in you guys. So that's why they're doing a special discount code only for Phat Pack Magic YouTube subscribers. Put in the code PPM15 and get 15% off any playmat you order. Foil, regular, anything you're looking for. PPM15. So what are you guys waiting for? Go make your own mats and show off your style. And we are back. Victor is going to be on the play this time as they draw out their opening hands, and I have to say, I think Adam is pretty pleased with how his deck played out, even though his win condition didn't really need to exist thanks to Victor's Mana Crypt. However, I don't think that's going to be something he's going to be able to count on a second time around. I'm pretty sure that Victor, and Adam is revealing his mulligan to Victor. Poor Adam, getting that Blightsteel Colossus and Tinker in the opening hand, and that is so rough. As he takes a mulligan, he's going to have to go down to 6 cards, but I think Victor sided out the Mana Crypt against Adam's deck. He doesn't have to put that much pressure against Adam to really gain an advantage here. He's got plenty of Mana Dorks, and their damage can really stack up over time, and Adam is going to have to draw down to 6. Takes a little sip of water, and that looks pretty good right now. And here we go. Is his 7 going to be worth? I mean, thankfully, Adam's going to be on the draw for this one, so he's going to be able to draw out, and that Blightsteel Colossus just seems to be the bane of Adam's existence. However, it's going to be an easy throw back underneath the bottom of the deck as Victor starts his turn off with an Overgrown Tomb tapped, and there's a familiar face, and that is Forbid. Now, unfortunately, Adam doesn't seem to have a lot of blue mana to work with here. He's got Temple Garden, he's got Island, and he's got Savannah, but down comes a Farseek from Victor, and he's gonna just do a little bit of acceleration, do a little bit of mana fixing. That Farseek gonna be able to find that Badlands or maybe another Bayou if Victor really wants to hit his mana fixing properly. Comes into play tapped, and he passes the turn back to Adam, who unfortunately doesn't find another island. Instead, he's just going to play out an island and hope for the best for the next turn as he passes back to Victor. No action from Adam's side of the board, and unfortunately, if Victor is able to pump out something quick and easy here, Adam has no response. But thankfully, Victor hasn't deployed a turn 1 dork, so Adam is kind of safe for now, unless Victor can figure out a way to dump a big fatty in the yard and reanimate it this turn. However, Nissa is going to come down, and she is going to make a plant token, which is going to be incredibly hard for Adam, because those plants are basically one anthem away from being a pain in his ass. Adam plays out Savannah and just passes the turn. He's got no action here. And the face down card represents a plant token. Hopefully we'll get the actual tokens on screen for you guys here in a minute. But just hold through with us for a second. Victor plays out another land. And how does he want to start his turn? He's going to play the Shaman of the Forgotten Ways, a nice little 2/3. And is he going to make another plant, or is he going to start antheming and begin the pump damage? Activates Nissa. Or no, he's going to play Sylvan Caryatid, and now he's going to activate Nissa, putting +1/+1 counters on his team, and crashes in against Adam for a mighty 1 damage, and there we go, now we have the plant tokens. Adam draws, and again, he is stifled on blue mana, has plenty of land drops, but not the blue kind. However, a Solemn Simulacrum is going to be able to fetch it out, grabbing that pivotal second blue mana, and providing Adam with a blocker against this team. Victor doesn't really need to pump out the fatties at this point because he's just going to be able to make them himself. But there is a tooth and nail in hand for Victor in case, just in case. Now, that Shaman of the Forgotten Ways is a very potent, wow! There's Craterhoof Behemoth, but for Adam, there's Force of Will right on time. And what does he want to pitch with it? It looks like Snapcaster Mage is going to get chewed up. Force of Will taking a life, bringing him down to 17. As Adam draws for turn. Man, and there's that Blightsteel Colossus. How does it keep finding its way into Adam's hand? Unfortunately, Adam is just going to have to pass a turn here and hope for the best. There's a land. Verdant Catacombs. Is it cracky time? Victor has a couple cards in hand. One of them looks like Tooth and Nail. He's got 7 mana to deploy it. So here comes the Verdant Catacombs, getting a crack, and probably just going to search up a basic land here, mainly because he's already got his special duels in play. His fixing is perfect for this situation. So there's 5, 6, 7. Is it time for Tooth and Nail? I think it's time for Tooth and Nail. I mean, it might be a little bit greedy to wait for the Entwine, mainly because Victor doesn't really have much action going on aside from his Nissa. However, she's going to be able to Anthem up. And there's Tooth and Nail. And Adam, he's going to have to make a decision as to if he wants to let it resolve. But the main question is, does he want to, use it for bid for buyback? He's already facing down a really heavy board. Now, he can Time Walk his opponent with Venser, and that seems to be like what he's going to do, bouncing the spell back to his hand. But my concern is that's just going to give Victor another turn to be able to try and Entwine it, as Nissa ticks down and puts +1/+1 counters on the remainder of his team. And now that plant token is a 2/3, and that Shaman of the Forgotten Ways is a 4/5. Oof. And Sodom Simulacrum is going to get in the way of that 4/5, drawing Adam a card and taking 2 damage from the plant token. As Adam starts his turn, draws, there's that island that, he doesn't really need anymore, but there's a Cyclonic Rift in hand, and that will be one hell of a play against Victor, especially after he's invested so much into his board. Now, Adam can start crashing in at Nissa, trying to kill her off, and maybe take one set of hits for 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. But maybe Victor will throw a plant in front of it. But it looks like Adam is just going to take the turn off, pass it back, and hope to go for a dig through time later. Now, Victor is making another plant token, so he's got a lot of pressure on board against Adam. And that Venser didn't really do much aside from just play out as a fog for, against 4 damage. Because now Victor is going to be able to deploy that Tooth and Nail again. And Adam is going to have to discard 2 cards if he wants to keep that for bid with buyback. And I would say the Cyclonic Rift would have been a lot more relevant than a Venser. But here comes 2 cards. One is the Blightsteel Colossus, and I think the other one that has to go is the Cyclonic Rift rather than the Dig Through Time. And that's going to be really tough because Adam is facing so much pressure right now as it is. He's deciding on whether or not he wants to go for the Rift or the Time. And that is such a hard decision. I mean, definitely the Blightsteel Colossus has to go. But maybe he doesn't want to give up either, and he's just going to let the Forbid resolve without the buyback? The Forbid's still on the stack. I mean, he could crack that Horizon Canopy and draw a card, but nope. Forbid is going to be bought back. The Blightsteel Colossus is going to be shuffled back in. Cyclonic Rift hits the yard, although it'll be good delve fodder for the Dig Through Time. I still think he might want to crack that Horizon Canopy, but he might just need the lands in play. Yep, end of turn, he's going to crack the Horizon Canopy, draw, and then draw for turn. And there is Supreme Verdict, which seems to be right on time against Victor's open board. However, Victor has a ton of live draws, so here comes Supreme Verdict. Kill everything, get it out of the way, and hopefully, Victor doesn't draw anything good. That's Adam's game plan right there. There's a land, Nissa's gonna make a plant, and Victor passes the turn back. Wow, and there's Elspeth. Elspeth, unfortunately, oh man, just a little bit late, but still fine. He's got CounterMagic backup with Forbid. He's playing out a Everflowing Chalice for 1 and passing the turn back, holding up Forbid mana. Here comes 7, 8. There's Griselbrand. Oh man, Forbid. Ooh, that's a tough Forbid here. I think it just has to get countered. And he says, yep, counter it, no buyback. And Adam has Dig Through Time. Victor swings in for 0. But there's a flooded strand. Oh man, if only Adam had been able to get that Dig Through Time off before, he would have been able to buy back the Forbid. Now the question is, does he deploy the Elspeth here? I kind of like deploying it here now, getting those 3 dudes down and just letting stuff go. I don't think he's got time to really take a turn off. He needs to get Elspeth to where she's ultimate range. So here we go. Here's 6. Elspeth comes down, and Victor has a lot of live draws, but Elspeth, as long as they don't have haste, Elspeth is going to be able to wipe him out. Victor playing out a very innocent Wall of Roots and pumping up Nissa to 5. And here come the 3 soldier tokens, and they're going to be able to start crashing in at Nissa and hopefully start wiping out some of those plant tokens before they get anthemed. And there's a spell Skype for Adam, hopefully to be able to remove any of those pesky removal spells that might come Elspeth's way. So Elspeth crashes in. All the plant tokens, wait, are they blocking? The tokens don't block. Only one of them blocks, the Wall of Roots. And Nissa takes 2 points of damage. And Victor plays out Derogatory Speaker, levels it up, puts a counter on everything. So now those soldier tokens are going to be in the realm of not so great blocking or attacking territory, because they're just going to get eaten up by those plant tokens. But now Adam, he's got a pivotal option here. He's going to be able to dig through time, delving away all this garbage that's been piling up in his yard, and look through the top 7 cards of his library. Now, he's got Time Twister, so he's got to be a little bit more careful as to what he wants to pitch. Or Time Spiral, so he needs to be a little bit careful. It looks like he wants to keep the Supreme Verdict and the Cyclonic Rift available for Time Spiral purposes. Dig Through Time resolves, and he's going to look at the top 7 cards. Now, he really needs to be able to protect that Elspeth, because that's a huge win condition on his end, and she is super close to ultimating. And it looks like he's got Impulse, Time Spiral, which is pretty good. Gideon as well. Ooh, I really like the Gideon here, and maybe the Archmage Charm, because that can act as a counter spell, and Gideon can play out as a very formidable creature that will force all the creatures to attack him, allowing for Adam to take an offensive route against the Nissa. But it looks like he's going to go with the Archmage Charm and Impulse. He doesn't seem to want the Gideon, because Impulse is going to be cast at the end of turn as well. Here comes the top four. There's Mana Leak, there's Torrential Gearhulk, Time Vault, and Deceiver Exarch. Wow, what a batch of cards. And oh man, he doesn't have the key in hand, so I think Torrential Gearhulk has to be the pick here. Mainly because it's going to be able to do a lot of damage with that Archmage Charm. But also at the end of turn, he's going to thin out his deck just a little bit more, taking 1 damage from the Flooded Strand and pulling out a Hollowed Fountain into play tapped. And man, I love the Hollowed Fountain. I love just a little bit here. I love the foil Hollowed Fountain art. I love the little guild insignia on top of that. I love Rob Alexander's art. It does something for me, guys. I don't know what to tell you. But Victor says it's fine. You're cool. Everything's good. And we are starting on Adam's turn here right now. Untapping all them soldiers. And if he can ultimate that Elspeth next turn. Oh man. There's Deceiver Exarch. And here's all these soldiers. And next turn, he can ultimate her to completely overwhelm Victor with a bunch of flying 3/3 dudes. And the math is 27. All Adam needs to do is be able to counter anything Victor does, and he's got the Archmage Charm. But for a little bit of extra guarantee, he's going to play the Spellskite. So if Victor draws like an Assassin's Trophy, it's going to redirect to that Spellskite. And Victor draws 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ulamog? Wow, that's a nutbuster. Oof. Big oof. Unfortunately, Adam is not going to be able to ultimate that Nissa, or that Elspeth. Even if he counters the Ulamog, the cast is going to exile 2 permanents, Spellskite and Elspeth. Oh, that is so painful. That is rough. He was so close to being able to ultimate her and getting that emblem out. The Archmage Charm is still going to have to do its work and counter the Ulamog, but the effect is still there, and that is a brutal 3-4-1 against Adam. Oh, wow. And now Nissa is going to make another plant token, but Adam has to start going on the offensive. He's going to have Torrential Gearhulk, so as a counter backup. And I guess they had counters on them, but he needs to denote whether or not they're +1/+1 counters. So Adam draws, and unfortunately, it's that gosh darn Lightsteel Colossus in his hand as he passes the turn back. And he's not going to start swinging in, but I think he's at a point where he can just start doing damage, but he doesn't want to give up that hedge against Victor's team in case a Craterhoof Behemoth comes down. But Victor is just leveling up stuff, making another plant token, and Adam decides it's time for a dig through time. Cast for free off the back of the Torrential Gearhulk, Adam's going to be able to dig through the top 7 and hopefully find a way to close out this game quickly, because Victor's deck is full of live draws, and man, that Tinker is just, that's just a taunting Tinker. But Time Vault is also in there, and Adam would be able to take another turn with that Time Vault utilizing Deceiver Exarch, but that doesn't seem to be the best way to close out this game. And unfortunately, not even Time Twister or Time Spiral would be able to get back that Elspeth because she is exiled, and putting a bunch of really relevant cards back in Victor's hand isn't the way that Adam wants to win this game. So Temptation doesn't do much. He could steal a Mana Dork, but I kind of like the Time Vault here, and man, it doesn't seem to be like a lot of choice here. But Adam's kind of run through his deck, and I think one of the options is Tinker. Or no, not Tinker. I mean, Time Vault seems to be a fine play here. Looks like Time Vault and going through. I mean, Mox Diamond's not going to do any good. Tinker's not going to do much good because he's already got the big artifacts in hand. So it's going to be Sower of Temptation and a Time Vault. Now, Adam starts off his turn, but I guess he forgot to draw for a turn? So he's down a card. But that may not be too relevant here, because he's going to take another turn anyways, playing out the Time Vault, untapping it with Deceiver Exarch, and taking another turn, and maybe he could find a way to go infinite off that Time Vault and find a win there. But that's a Windswept Heath. And Adam seems to be completely out of gas here. I guess he could Sower of Temptation and grab that Jiraga Tree Speaker and get a little bit closer to casting off that Blightsteel Colossus. Because he's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The Jiraga Tree Speaker would give him 10, so another land drop or two, and he could play out that Blightsteel Colossus. I mean, it's indestructible, and it has Infect, so that could close out the game pretty quickly. But he swings in for a 5. A plant is going to get chump blocked, and Victor has a deck full of live draws, and one of them is Dance of the Dead, and that just got drawn. Here's 1, 2 mana. Dance of the Dead. What's it going to bring back? It looks like a Craterhoof, and Craterhoof is going to be able to do a lot of damage, gaining yeah, that's more than enough math for Adam. Unfortunately, man, that Craterhoof was just going to get there. He didn't have the CounterMagic to back it up, and Elspeth getting nuked. Oh, wow, that was a harsh win for Victor against Adam, because all Adam needed was one more turn, and maybe if he could have cobbled together a Time Vault with the Deceiver Exarch to ultimate out that Elspeth, Adam could have gotten there. But wow, that is incredibly brutal. And we are going to go on to game 3. All right, it's game 3. They're drawing out their opening hands, and let's see what's going on. So Adam's hand looks pretty good. He's got his colors going. He's got the Windswept Heath for a fetch land. He's got an island. He's got a good blocker in the form of Spellskite, and it also looks like he has Little Teferi. So they're both keeping. He starts off his turn with a Windswept Heath, digging through, and I mean, I guess maybe a Hollowed Fountain here tapped, and that's going to be the play. And Victor is going to start off his turn with an Inquisition of Kozilek, and wow, that's a good chunk of targets. It's going to be either Spellskite or Teferi. And Teferi seems to be a big problem, and that's going to get launched to the yard. Adam's shuffling up a little bit as he starts his turn. The players decide to take a little bit of shortcuts here just because they hate me doing commentary, I guess. But here we go. Turn starting. Adam untaps, draws. And there's another island, fixing the mana problems that he was having in the previous game as he deploys a Spellskite. That's going to be a nice little blocker to fend off Victor's team, but it's also going to be able to chew up some of the removal. Victor starts off his turn with Lotus Cobra, and that is a dangerous turn 1 for Adam to see across the board. Unfortunately, Adam looks a little bit light on white mana because he's going to want to cast that Gideon next turn, so hopefully he can find another fetch land like the Flooded Strand, or maybe just draw the Savannah instead. Victor untaps. He's got a Shaman of the Forgotten Ways in hand, and he's deciding on whether he wants to just start deploying threats. Because right now, Adam is tapped out, so he can probably take a little bit of liberty and start playing out something pretty nasty. But he's gonna play a Marsh Flats, crack the Marsh Flats, floating mana off the Lotus Cobra. And what is he gonna get? Oh man, come on. Find it, do it. There's a Bayou. So his colors are on fleek. Is that the way you're supposed to say it? But he gets another mana off the Lotus Cobra, bringing him up to 5 mana. What could he have in store for Adam's face? And cuts, all right. But there's a deranged hermit making 4 squirrels right in front of Adam, and we'll try and get you those squirrel tokens on the camera here in just a second. But unfortunately, Adam did not draw another white source. But that's a... Wait. Nope. No, he's not going to be able to play out that Gideon. Sorry, Adam. Gideon is, not that awesome. And Victor is not going to pay the echo cost. Draws turn. There's natural order off the top. Victor plays it. There's natural order. Sacrificing the Lotus Cobra rather than a squirrel, I guess. And untapping because he gets 1 mana off the Lotus Cobra. But yeah, Adam doesn't have a response or a solution to the natural order. And here comes Craterhoof Behemoth, giving all of the creatures +5/+5 and trample, and Adam scoops it up. Oh wow, if only he had the white mana to play Gideon, he could have plus Gideon and made all those creatures attack at him and been able to try and get through that turn. But Victor is going to take the game and the match, and you're going to see him next time on the feature camera in round 2. But until next time, make sure you hit that like button, hit that notification bell, subscribe, and if you want to support the channel and content like this, check out some of the links in the description below. But until next time, may all your packs be fat.